Hello everyone, hello ADCE. It's lovely to see so many of you here, although I can see none of you. This is a very strange thing, isn't it? But it is a pleasure to be speaking to you all today. My name's Alex and I'm just about to share my screen and get my presentation up for you. I'm doing some fancy trickery where I'm going to magically appear at the bottom of your screen. My presentation is going to be behind me, as if I was with you in real life. How's that? Can you see that? I hope you can. So today I'm going to be talking about bringing purpose to publishing and the It's Nice That and Hudson Beck Group mantra of enabling creativity to thrive. If you don't know what It's Nice That is, where have you been? But I won't think any less of you. Let's just tell you what it is. First and foremost, it is a online platform, a media company really championing brilliant creatives for over a decade. And we're known mainly for itsnicethat.com. And across all of our channels, we reach about 2 million people every single month. And our job is to show them the best work happening in the creative world, the best talent, the best illustration, film, design, you name it, we like to show it, writing about incredible work. Of course, now we reach 2 million. We didn't always, and the scale has changed immeasurably. There was a point where It's Nice That was a 1-week project at university, reaching 2 people. And that growth has come very slowly and organically over the last 13 years. From Will Hudson, one of my best friends, starting this, like I said, at Brighton University, and it growing very slowly and organically and sustainably over the last decade. And everything we do now really has started as small ideas that have grown when the need has been there. For example, now we do monthly events called Nice Tuesdays and digital events to thousands and thousands of people all over the world. But at one point, our events were me and Will trying to beg 15 people to come and see creatives talk in a loft in London. We have a team of about 40, but again, at one point, this was 2 of us huddled around desks, trying to avoid doing the commercial work we probably should have been doing, but instead working on a beautiful project called It's Nice That has become our jobs today. And really, these are standard stories of growth, small steps, incrementally growing into something bigger. But I don't think that that's such a interesting topic for today, knowing that the topic is about prototyping brands for a new era. And rather than talk about today how we have grown or how we've done that, how we've made those incremental steps, today I want to talk about how I believe brands should be growing and how we are growing as a group of companies. If for the last 10 years we've been building a platform, the thought process around how we build that has always been reasonably straightforward. Success looks like growth, but really success now needs to be a much broader picture than that, and that's what I'd love to talk to you about today. The starting point for that, to tackle that question, really I wanted to show you this, can I call it a poster? It's a poster that my uncle gave me for my 18th birthday, and he said that this was all the advice that I would ever need. There are some terrible, terrible pieces of advice on there, like underneath cats is the pavement, never read authors with 3 names, if you cry, drink milk. It's essentially complete nonsense. But the very, very final piece of advice on there is be good, but know what good is. Okay, so maybe slightly more profound than underneath cats is the pavement. But really, I mention this because I think this is a key starting point for companies now in 2020, 2021. We all need to define what good looks like again, right? We need to question what good is. And with that as an idea, I thought I'd run the idea of what good is through our own growth on It's Nice That. So really good in 2007 for us was just to pass our course, to have our tutor look at It's Nice That and to do well. 2009, maybe it was to make a living and to pay ourselves. 2010, to reach 100,000 people. 2012, maybe it was about growing the team and finding a new studio. 5 years ago, maybe it was about reaching 500,000 people. To be honest, I can't really remember. But what I can definitely say is that our good has changed, or up until 2015 for sure, changed depending on the stage of development of the company. And really before that, although we believed in a lot, we didn't even necessarily have a North Star or an overarching purpose. That meant that it was easy to flip and flop depending on what felt right that month or that year, which again, I don't think is now adequate for 2020. I don't just talk about us here as well. Traditionally, I think good hasn't necessarily taken that much thought for brand. It's always been about growing. Maybe it's about improving, but it's mostly about getting bigger, better, richer, making more money. And really, the point of today, I would say, from my talk and from all of the others, is to challenge that. You know, clearly that just getting bigger is no longer enough, and brands have got to contribute in more meaningful ways than that. I'm preaching to converted here. I'd imagine all of you here are listening to this conference because you believe in that, or you're interested in that idea. And so what I would love to do today is to show you how we've always been thinking about meaningful growth and, you know, what that really, really means for us now. So the only way to do that really is to start with our own compass. Where is our compass pointing? And this is a purpose we set about 5 years ago for the Hudson Bet Group, to enable creativity to thrive. And really that is our good measure, right? That was our good measure 5 years ago, and a bit of an updated measure of success. And the result of those 5 years since is really where we find ourselves today, right? A group of companies, 4 companies, it's nice that anyways, Lecture in Progress, if you could, all in their own ways, fulfilling this purpose of enabling creativity to thrive. And for us, although we never set out on that model, maybe that's also helping, you know, define what a publisher could be, or bringing more purpose to publishing, as the title of my talk suggests. For a moment, I'd love to just run you through those 4 businesses. The group is called the Hudson Bet Group, like I said. Our names, lots of people think it sounds like a bank. Maybe we need to change that name in the future. Answers on a postcard for me. But really it has 4 entities. And like I said, it's nice that is the one you know, the one I've just explained. Anyways, there's a creative agency that came a couple of years after it. We started a careers resource called Lecture in Progress. And we also have a jobs board called If You Could Jobs. And for a minute, I'd like to just show you and try and illustrate that higher purpose and how those businesses are helping fulfill that purpose. So firstly, Anyways is our creative agency, and we're helping brands communicate messages in adventurous and meaningful ways, finding really creative ways to communicate their messages. And we call it Anyways because we don't mind what medium that's in. There is any way to solve a communication problem. But the key really is that we work with outside talent on every single job from that amazing network that we have from It's Nice That, to give real paid commissions on every single job to creatives from all over the world. So that might be in the top left, Dave and Gabe, amazing interactive designers in New York, doing a piece of work for Sonos with us. Or it might be asking an illustrator or animator like Sophie Coco Gate that I'm standing in front of, to do some work for Google, either a sticker, set, or an animation, or working with someone like Yinka Ilori on a Pinterest job, designing a space. So again, super, super, super broad. But really the point is that the way we're helping enable creativity to thrive through an agency rather than a traditional agency model is really fundamentally pay creatives and make sure that we are putting money in their pockets. And over the last 9 years, we've paid millions and millions of pounds to external talent to execute projects for amazing creatives. And that's really how we're enabling creativity to thrive there. Next, our jobs board, If You Could Jobs, really one of the most straightforward businesses in the group. We're helping people find their next creative job, and making sure employers not only put their jobs in front of job seekers, but also syndicate those jobs onto It's Nice That, so that people reading It's Nice That who maybe aren't looking for a job also see those opportunities. Again, over the past few years since we've had the platform, we've posted tens of thousands of jobs, and really here how we're helping or enabling creativity to thrive is helping creators find jobs. Super, super, super simple. Next, Lecture in Progress is our careers resource, and we're helping emerging talent, regardless of their background, demystify the working world, getting advice on how to start their creative careers, and really fundamentally make sure that that information is free to access for everyone, regardless of where someone is in the world, who they know, or what kind of education they've had, or what kind of background. We believe that the creative industry should be more accessible for all, and to do that, We need to provide free information about what job roles exist, how you get into them, advice to get into them, and entry-level opportunities to get into them. So really, already, this is only 3 years old, but we've reached hundreds of thousands of young people through the platform. And really, that's how we're enabling creativity to thrive here, is helping emerging creatives start what we hope are long and fruitful careers. And finally, it's nice that in its lifespan, it's nice that it's been visited by over 30 million people coming to be inspired. We've written over 30,000 articles about people, young, old, famous, unknown, and giving exposure to them that they ordinarily wouldn't have had. And just last week, we're extending that model and launching Extra Nice, which is a platform to help our core readers support their own creativity. If we've championed creativity for a really long time now, it's time to support it. And essentially, we're doing that by enabling those Extra Nice supporters to use It's Nice That in new ways, to be able to search our colossal archive image first, get access to all of our events and even more perks, as well as have a percentage of their supporter fee donated to projects in the creative industry that are helping diversify the creative industry. So really, how we're enabling creativity to thrive here is helping creators be discovered, obviously, and supporting their practice. And we're doing that every single day. And we have been doing that every single day for 13 years. So, bit of a drink, why not? That's where we are now. We're one big family. There's a shared purpose. And that's, I guess, how in our own way we've given purpose to publishing, as my title said. But really what I want to spend the last few minutes talking to you about is, rather than what's now, what's next, and go back to this idea of what good is. So good now, as I just explained, is enabling creativity to thrive in lots of different ways. But really what is good in 2030 is a really much more interesting conversation. And really, this is the future now. I want you to imagine we're in 2030 in the future, and this is space. And clearly the world would have changed dramatically, right? Technology is going to be an even more integral part of every single day. The global population would have risen by 1 billion. So much would have changed. All of our products are probably services. We don't own anything. Everything is rented. AI, automation, AR, VR is everywhere. Everything's personalized. And, clearly I'm no prophet, but what I can be pretty sure of is that the world we live in is going to be pretty unimaginable to us today. And most importantly, really, due to those massive, massive, massive changes, I believe the creative industry would have continued to become more and more and more powerful, right? I think it is going to be a key capability for everyone in the world of work, for every company on the planet, especially as there's more automation than ever. I don't think the creative industry will be seen as a bit part or a nice to have. I don't think there's going to be any barriers to the brilliant companies being made by creatives. And I can see a time when there is as many chief creative officers on the boards of huge companies as there are chief financial officers. And really, like today is shown or will be showing, depending where I am on the lineup, businesses are going to be standing for different things. And I think most importantly for us and the group really is that businesses are going to need creatives more than ever. We're going to need to empower them more than ever to do amazing things. And really, from a Hudson Beck Group perspective, we have to use the next 10 years to support that vision and support creatives more than we are today. So what does that look like? So, we would have been around for 20 years, and I hope we would have been at the forefront of enabling creativity ever since before creative skills were as necessary as they are going to be in 2030. That with It's Nice That, we're hopefully inspiring and forming over 5 million people every single month, and using our huge influence and platform to support people and causes that we believe in, giving them a voice, giving them a place to be heard, and the opportunity really to impact what the creative industry looks, feels, and sounds like. With Anyways, partnering with brands and organizations too, both big and corporate and small and nimble, helping them creatively showcase their messages, and also talk about different things. I'm sure we'll be helping brands communicate completely different things than just that new launch that they have coming up. And I think most importantly, linked to It's Nice That point, is that I hope we're using and working with and paying and contributing to the economy and using the most respected, diverse, inclusive creative network on the planet. With Lecture in Progress, I believe we'll be helping tens of thousands of young people access creative careers, regardless of their walks of lives. And I hope from all ages as well. Hopefully we can help from primary school level to young professionals. And also demystifying the world of work, which again will look completely different in 2030, making sure that we are keeping up to date with what job roles exist and explaining them in a way that is accessible to so many. And really fundamentally changing what the pipeline of talent entering industry really looks like and has looked like for the last 10 years. But if you could, very simple, I hope we're still filling hundreds of thousands of jobs, flexing our offer to promote those new jobs that are going to exist. I believe there will be more creative jobs, so I hope the platform will continue to thrive. And finally, I hope also that we're building new parts of the group, that there will clearly be new needs between now and 2030, and I hope we continue to listen and act and be nimble and don't kind of stick to our ways of what we do and develop the offer. Maybe we're buying new companies, maybe we're helping smaller organisations with our processes and models and techniques. But again, every single one of them, if we do go down that route, would always be about enabling creativity to thrive. Like I said, clearly we have the same purpose, but I think it's important that also we add more than that. We use our privilege and the layers of privilege that we have really deeply understood that we have this year to do something more in the creative industry, to really diversify what the creative industry is, that the people working in it, the people we're championing, the people we're training and developing and commissioning are kind of unrecognisable from the standard creative set that you see now. They're diverse, multicultural group of people who don't necessarily look like me, like a white middle-class guy, from all different walks of life and from all over the world. And I hope that all of the platforms that sit underneath this purpose have really helped to move us towards that. Clearly, that is a life's work that will take till past 2030, I'm sure. But really, I hope that the Hudson Beck Group has really spearheaded doing something in that space and becoming a world-renowned centre for excellence and creative opportunity. So that's really our mission. It's a really big one. But again, when we talk about setting what good is, I think it's really important to try and outline that. And if you were looking at the probability of two guys at university with a 1-week project becoming what we have today, I don't think you bet on it. I think it's pretty unlikely. I think, we've had lots of luck along the way and a lot of hard work, but, I think we're right place, right time. But really the foundations that we've built, I would say, mean that the step that I've just described from where we are now to that bigger entity in 2030 is much, much, much more likely. We've got the foundations and we are really, really excited to try and do something really huge with them. And to come full circle, that leads me on to my, to back where I started is, what is good? And in 2030, I hope that people won't really know us as a blog or a website, but as an organisation that helped millions of creatives thrive and grow a diverse, inclusive, respected creative world that has had a lasting impact on the creative industry. Thank you very much for listening. That's all I've got to say for today. I'm going to magically transform probably into some different clothes to do a Q&A. Thank you all for listening. I've just stopped the screen. Goodbye.